They told him the mountains eat men for breakfast. They told him no one returns from the Iron Peaks alive. But Elias wasn't afraid of dying. He was terrified of living a life that didn't matter. And what he found at the top changed everything we know about human limits. The echo of the Iron Peaks, a journey beyond limits. The call of the impossible. In the mist-shrouded village of Oakhaven, nestled at the foot of the formidable Iron Peaks, life was simple, predictable, and dictated by a singular, unspoken rule. Never look at the Iron Peaks with longing. These were not mere mountains. They were colossal, jagged black spires that clawed at the sky, their summits perpetually veiled in swirling clouds and ancient mystery. Whispers of a legendary sunstone at the very pinnacle. A crystal believed to pulse with the light of 1,000 dawns and grant unparalleled wisdom, were dismissed as old wives' tales, dangerous fantasies. Elias, however, was different. His spirit was not content with the gentle rhythm of Oakhaven. While others harvested their fields and shared their simple joys, Elias felt an unyielding fire in his chest, a restless yearning for something more profound than comfort. He didn't want a safe life. He craved an extraordinary one. One crisp autumn morning, with nothing but a weathered map, drawn from forgotten lore, a sturdy but frayed rope, a reliable pickaxe, a small pouch of dried provisions, and a heart brimming with defiant hope, he prepared to leave. The villagers gathered, their faces a mix of pity and scorn. "The mountains eat men like you for breakfast, Elias," a grizzled elder bellowed, his voice thick with generations of fear. "You'll never return." Elias didn't look back. His gaze was fixed on the distant, unyielding peaks, a challenge etched against the horizon. The serpent's bite and the echo of doubt. The initial days were a deceptive dance through lush, unfamiliar forests, where ancient trees whispered secrets and sunlight dappled the mossy ground. But soon, the terrain turned treacherous, transforming into a nightmare of freezing winds that howled like banshees and vertical cliffs that seemed to defy gravity. Every step was a battle. 3 days into his ascent, as he carefully navigated a perilously narrow ridge, disaster struck with brutal suddenness. The ground beneath his foot, weakened by unseen erosion, gave way. With a desperate cry, Elias tumbled 50 feet down, landing with a sickening thud in a shallow, snow-filled ravine. His leg throbbed with a searing pain, a sharp rock having deeply bruised it. His meager supplies were scattered across the icy expanse, some irretrievable. His spirit, once so resolute, now lay shattered amidst the snow. As he lay there, the overwhelming silence of the mountain pressed down on him like an unyielding tombstone. "They were right," he whispered, his voice hoarse with despair. "I am just a boy, a fool from a tiny village." He lay there for what felt like an eternity, the bitter cold seeping into his bones, resignation creeping into his mind. But then, a flicker of movement caught his eye. A small, resilient mountain hawk, no bigger than his outstretched hand, was battling a brutal updraft. It was buffeted back, tossed and turned, seemingly defeated 10 times over. Yet, on the 11th attempt, with an almost imperceptible adjustment, it tucked its wings, found its balance, and soared effortlessly into the vast, open sky. A revelation struck Elias like a bolt of lightning. The mountain wasn't his true enemy. His own insidious doubt was the real adversary. He wasn't weak, he had simply forgotten his own strength. With renewed resolve, he tore a strip from his shirt to fashion a crude bandage around his throbbing leg, meticulously gathered his remaining gear, and, gritting his teeth against the pain, began to climb again. This time, not purely with the strength of his aching muscles, but with the indomitable power of his awakened will. The hallucination of comfort and the inner abyss. A grueling week later, Elias dragged himself into what was known as the death zone. Here, the air was agonizingly thin, each breath feeling like swallowing jagged shards of ice. The altitude began to play cruel tricks on his mind. He saw vivid, enticing hallucinations. His warm, familiar bed back home, bathed in soft lamplight. He smelled his mother's fresh-baked bread, a scent so real it brought tears to his eyes. A seductive, gentle voice in his head whispered, "Just sleep, Elias. If you stop now, the pain will vanish. The struggle will end. Sweet, sweet peace awaits." This, he knew, was the ultimate test, the point where most succumb. It wasn't always a lack of physical strength that claimed them, but the overwhelming, insidious temptation of comfort, a desire to surrender that overshadowed the burning hunger for greatness. Elias bit his lip until the coppery taste of blood filled his mouth, a sharp sensation to anchor him to reality. He started counting his steps, a rhythmic mantra against the encroaching darkness. 1, 2, breathe. 1, 2, breathe. He wasn't just climbing a mountain anymore. He was descending into the abyss of his own mind and conquering every doubt, every fear, every desperate plea for surrender. Each step was a testament to his unbreakable spirit. The summit and the true light. On the 10th day, just as the first blush of dawn began to paint the eastern sky, Elias summoned every last ounce of his remaining strength and pulled himself over the final, razor-sharp edge of the peak. He had braced himself for a magnificent, glittering crystal, a radiant sunstone pulsing with celestial light. But instead, he found a solitary, wind-swept, snow-covered plateau. At its center stood not a grand crystal, but a single, ancient, polished stone, strangely warm to the touch. On its surface, words were intricately carved in a language he couldn't read, yet understood with his soul. The light you sought was never in the stone. It was the unyielding fire you ignited within yourself, the flame that guided you on this arduous journey to get here. As the first golden rays of the rising sun pierced through the lingering clouds, they bathed the entire Iron Peaks in an ethereal, molten gold. Elias looked down, and beneath his feet, the world was a swirling ocean of clouds, stretching endlessly to the horizon. He was no longer just Elias, the boy from Oakhaven. He was the man who had faced the impossible, stared into the abyss of his own fears, and emerged, not only alive but truly, gloriously free. He had not merely climbed a mountain, he had soared. The message: Elias returned to Oakhaven months later, a changed man. He carried no gold, no glittering jewels from the summit. Yet, there was a profound, quiet strength in his gaze, a deep wisdom in his eyes that compelled people to stop in their tracks and listen. He gathered the youth of the village, not with tales of glory, but with a simple, powerful truth. The mountain itself doesn't change you. The relentless, difficult, and often terrifying climb does. Do not fear the dizzying heights to which you aspire. Fear only the life lived entirely on the safe, comfortable ground. If you enjoyed this journey to the Iron Peaks and felt the echo of Elias's determination, please give this video a like. Your support helps us share more stories of courage and inspiration. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Thank you for watching.